In this video, we're going to be discussing Salvia divinorum and time. So typically, we think about time as going from, so to speak, going from the past to the future, or rather, the past lies behind the present lies behind the future. Vice versa, the future lies ahead of the present, and the present lies ahead of the past. That's how we typically think of it. I've tried to say this so many different ways, but that way seems to sum up how a lot of people think about it when they adopt a mainstream Newtonian kind of notion of looking at reality. Well, when you take Salvia divinorum, if you're anything like me, like I always try and say in my videos, I only know my own experiences with Salvia, but when I've taken Salvia, the things I apprehend suggest that time, it might go from past to present to future, but that doesn't explain everything. If that's how it works, that's only part of how it works, because you see correlations that can't be explained away just with coincidence. I know when billions of events are happening in billions of places around the world, billions of times a second, when you go to the small level, and you go, even when you calculate it at the scale that human beings' significant events occur at, certain coincidences are bound to happen. I get that. It doesn't explain what happens. Like, I swear to you, you take Salvia divinorum, and it's like I keep saying, if it's anything like me, take a sufficient dose. If you take a little bit and you feel a little weird, but it doesn't make you question reality, take that same dose times 1.5. Add half. Let's say you had 1 unit. Add a half unit. So now do 1.5 units. If that gets you a little closer, but it's not quite profound enough, continue that experiment. I can't advocate taking Salvia, but if you were to already do that, since it is legal in many states, I would suggest that route, because that's the baby step approach, where if it was fine before, 1.5 is enough, or will make enough of a difference, but I don't think that it's gonna, if it really was fine before, it's not gonna catapult you too far. You'll be able to handle it. That's my experience with it. Anyways, you, viewer out there that hasn't done it, and you are really questioning, like, this guy sounds like he's full of smoke, do it. And then question, can this be explained with coincidence? Seriously, question that. Oh, baby. That's embarrassing. I say that when, that's what I say when things just do not add up to me. I'm like, sweetheart, Jesus, that is fun. That is not. There's no words for it. You take the Salvia, and you're like, oh my god, that cannot be explained with the model of reality that I've adopted. Just gotta put that out there from the beginning. Luckily, this is only 3.5 minutes. We're doing pretty good, so let's get to these timelines. What is so strange about time for me specifically? I ingest Salvia. For me, it's always been smoked. I wish I could chew up the leaves. I want to get some fresh leaves, but with the extracts, the 20x, the 100x, I smoke it through my pipe or the bong, and time picks up where it left off. I put some notes down here to try and keep myself organized. That is one of the first crazy things. Time doesn't pick up where it left off referent to this reality's time stream. To explain a little bit more in detail, like, say I took some Salvia in 2016, for example, hypothetically, and I had just a 15-minute experience, and then in 2017, I didn't take any for a whole year. In 2017, I had another 15-minute experience. In Salvia realm, it hasn't been a year and 30 minutes altogether. It's been 30 minutes. Or maybe 30 minutes and maybe 2 plank times, I don't know how it works, but within a percent. It's kind of Narnia-like in that aspect, if you're probably not getting at. So Salvia realm picks up where it left off for you. if it seems like me. And I'm just going to stop saying if it seems like me. From here on out, you as a listener know that I'm talking about my own experience. So let me get this oriented. It picks up where I left off. So first off, let me say the Salvia realms always seem somewhat, depending on how far of a dose I am, correlates to how much overlaid or almost underlaid it is to this reality. So this reality, yes, this reality is like somewhat of a lower dimensional slice. That's not quite accurate, but there is a, if you think of there being 4 spatial dimensions, and as you take a small dose of Salvia, you start to go orthogonally in that 4th dimension, but you in increments according to how far your dose is. So at first, you're maybe seeing 10 degrees into the 4th dimension, if that makes any sense to anybody. And as you approach this Goldilocks zone of hopefully you don't do too much work, to me, it seems like this hell of eternity where time is endlessly repeating itself, even though, like, that's for another video. Getting back to this, in this Goldilocks zone, it's almost like you finally get almost close enough to 90 degrees orthogonal to where you're witnessing the entire 3-dimensional reality. I've never seen the entire 3-dimensional reality, but the at least your own time-space continuum in the immediate environment from a hawk's eye view, but from a orthogonal in the 4th dimensions and hawk-eye view, where you see it as a volume, but it's not really a volume. I keep taking so much time to explain this stuff because English doesn't do it justice, like I always say. Nonetheless, when you see things as volume, if I was seeing right now, right from here, as a volume, I could see the back of my head because I can see the front of my head, which means the light from the back of my head is just as accessible, really, because that's for another video. Anyways, referring this back to time, it picks up where it last left off. Anyone who's done Salvia and can recognize that or resonates with that at all, please comment and just get a hold of me. I'd like to get, like I say, please try and direct my thoughts, because there's probably a lot more that I could say that I want to say. I already said it feels like this hellish eternity when you take too much, and I kind of glimpsed at that. It feels like you get just this peak of it if you take too little, kind of like only 5 degrees in the 4th dimension, and you're only seeing a tiny angle of it. But just the last thing I wrote in my notes for this video, in that Goldilocks zone, you become a part of this. Some people tend to describe it as an object. Some people say it's a hyperdimensional object. Some people describe the wheel, the cogs, the steamroller, the zipper. There's a lot of themes I see in Salvia, but for me, it's I'll do another video on how we're connected, and I'll connect that video to this one. But imagine we're all connected, not in a way where it's hard to describe. We're all connected in a very, it's not necessarily mysterious. It's mysterious to a lot of us right now, but how we're connected has to do with our intents, our expectations, our relationships with one another. Intents and expectations has a lot to do with it, it seems like, but the bottom line is that we are all fundamentally connected from our source, and we are all actually the fingertips of this higher dimensional beings in a way where we all have our consciousness, but there's this other consciousness where we're really actually the neurons of it in a way. And because of the fact that we are, I say the fingertips too, we're somewhat like the fingertips because we're manifested physically here. We're also like the neurons because we transduce our sensory information into through a certain perspective that's correlated to our consciousness, and the fact that we're connected, it makes our intents and expectations orient itself in a certain direction. It's very loving, but there's, because of free will and because of the fact that consciousness gave itself the illusion of separating itself, to the point that we are all unique, even though we're all connected. It gave itself the potential for the illusion that becomes, it's more, when you think that we're separate, even though it's an illusion, it's so real to you that it's an illusion. But don't get me wrong, it's very real when you're living that illusion that it's not just an illusion, even though it is. We're all connected. But this video is talking about time, and I have way more to say about time. Here I am about 10 minutes, so I'll give myself another couple minutes to talk about time. So, another thing, when you take the Salvia, it gives you this familiarity thing that I've done a video trying to connect Mandela to Salvia, and I didn't go deep into it, so I can try and do a little bit of correlating right now. Why do I think Salvia has something to do with Mandela effect? Why are you... This is so frustrating to try and talk about because it's not convincing to a skeptic at all. But let me continue. Why are you so convinced? My name's Will, by the way. Can't give you my full name because I have ambitions to be something that I don't want people thinking I'm a lunatic for that specific job. Regardless, my name's Will. That's really the truth. And if someone tomorrow said, dude, are you tripping? Your name's James. Your name's been James your whole life. Are you tripping balls? The conviction that I would have that my name is Will, just like you, viewer, if you're anything like anyone I've ever met, the kind of conviction that you have that your name, that's just one example. Not that a name is some profound thing, but it's pretty attached to who you are, and how much that I am connected to what I think is the fact that my name is Will. Long for my name's William, but nonetheless, pretty much Willie, William. I know that, and how can I say that I know there's a Mandela effect thing tied to Salvia? I don't know, but I can't say that I know my name's William. I could literally have been downloaded with the past 22 years of someone who had what seems like the past 22 years correlated here, and how would I really know? Logically, I can't explain how I could know that in some Boolean formalized way. But holy shit, no, there's something about consciousness and memory that it goes much deeper than that. So when you take the Salvia, that familiarity, that deja vu times 100 at least, the same way I would stand by my own ground if you said my name was James, and even if you pull up pictures on the website, because of how the Mandela effect works, you pull a picture on the website, you type in my birthday, my social security, obviously I'm not going to give it my here, but you type them in and it pulls up James. I'm not going to give my last name, but everything correlates. My name's been James this whole time. I still, the way that I would know that that was a switch and that I really have been Will this whole time, I can't explain that way logically. But in that same way, so the people that aren't necessarily skeptics, hopefully skeptics can get this, I'd hope, but the people that come from their heart and know what the heart is like, you guys know, in that way, that's the familiarity that's tied to this Mandela effect. So now let me try and take it from a more logical perspective. Like I alluded to in this Mandela video, you see something that's so out of place. Like, just today I was looking at the Raisin Bran. There's so many. Berenstain was the first one for me, Berenstain. I remember being EIN, and let me just leave it at that. And so this Raisin Bran thing with him not having sunglasses, that's something I learned today. And that bugged me big time. That was one of the ones that visually really bugged me. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't heard anyone talk about how big he thought the sunglasses were, but this Raisin Bran guy, let's say the Raisin Bran son that we see on the internet right now, if it hasn't changed since I started making this video, or since I last saw it. Let's say his eyes are the size of mine, and they're actually pretty close together, but they're about, say, this size. I imagine the sunglasses being this big. So please, anyone who remembers the Razor brand sunglasses, please tell me, like, or I should say this big, because for my eyeballs, the regular sunglasses would be around here. I remember them being pretty exaggerated. But anyways, that's just a small thing. Let me try and end this video now because I can't stay too late. I've got a few things coming up. But anyways, I hope that this provided a little bit of more insight into where I'm coming from. And if not, just shoot me a question and I'll do a video on that. So I'll try and actually reply to the comments on the people that comment on my video. I'm very happy that you did. I appreciate it. It motivated me to do more. So I'll post this right now. Again, love y'all. Peace.